Welcome back to the Grenadier podcast, Real Estate Uncovered. Today I speak with Will Jordan, the Grenadier ambassador and All Black sensation. You obviously love this business. Tell me what you love the most about it. Today, an absolute exclusive. Welcome back to the Grenadier podcast, Real Estate Uncovered. Will, can you introduce yourself to us?
I'm Will Jordan. I'm a professional rugby player for the Crusaders and the All Blacks and a Harcourt's Grenadier ambassador.
Fantastic. It's so great to have you here. Tell us a little bit about your journey in rugby so far.
Yeah, it's been 8 years I've been a professional rugby player for now, which seems like I've been around a while. I guess I left school and worked my way through the grades, starting off with under-19 stuff, then moved forward into under-20s with the New Zealand team, went away to the World Champs there, and then off the back of that picked up a contract with Tasman and the Crusaders, and over the last 3 or 4 years been playing for the All Blacks as well. So it all happened pretty quickly after I left school, which forced me to do a bit of growing up pretty quickly, but yeah, it's something I'm passionate about and enjoy doing. So it's a bit of a journey, but enjoying it at the moment.
You're doing remarkably well. What advice would you give aspiring rugby players?
I think just really hone down and focus on your strengths. I think in rugby and in society in general these days, we tend to be quite critical and focus on our weaknesses, but I've always thought that your strengths are the ones that make you stand out and make you different from everyone else. So back yourself and work really hard on what you're good at.
Fantastic. How do you approach teamwork or team collaboration, both on and off the field?
I think it all starts with connection. Like for us, we put a real emphasis on connecting off the field, getting to know each other as individuals, as people, what our backgrounds are like, what do we like doing, what do we not like doing, and that kind of lays the foundation for it. And then I think beyond that, you can start having the tough conversations. Huge amount of kind of accountability and humility is kind of preached a lot in the rugby environment. So I think when you've got that trust and that deep connection, then that allows it to happen and kind of focusing on a greater goal and all working together towards it.
Pretty much what you're saying is some vulnerability-based sharing and really getting to know people at a deeper level.
I think so, and I think that's something that doesn't always come naturally to people, but as you get more experienced, you work out that you don't know everything. So it's important to have a bit of an open mindset. There's 15 people on the field and a huge coaching staff and management beyond that. So there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle to work in. So taking what you can from each person and trying to put it out together on the field.
Fantastic. So you're always looking at learning and growing and adjusting and adapting.
Yeah, definitely. You've always got particularly young players coming through who are looking to keep you on your toes. So always trying to grow your game, trying to get better. We talk about getting 1% better every day. So I think open mindsets are huge to that, and whether that's day by day or each season bringing in something different, an open mindset's huge.
Well, in terms of challenges you've had, and I know this season you've had a few as well, how do you face them? How do you move through them?
Yeah, I guess the biggest challenge we have in our space is probably around injury and not playing, and I've had a few of those now, probably more than I'd like, but I think you learn a lot through them, and I think something I've learned about each time I've been through it is how important structure is. I think when you start forecasting out into the future, getting uncertain about what might happen, that's when mentally it can become quite challenging. So having a structure in place around what you're doing to get through it, who are the key people around you, stuff I've done and learned to be hugely valuable during those tough times.
And when you are not in the playing 15, how do you contribute to the culture of the team?
Yeah, it's probably changed a little bit. I think when you're first coming through, you're trying to sort of soak up as much as you can and, be a bit quieter at the back of the room. And I guess this year, as I've started to get a bit older and a bit more experience not playing, you try and have a little bit more of a leadership role and try and empower others to do good things. So a tough season for the Crusaders this year, but in the background behind that, trying to just be a voice of reason for guys who are going through some challenges on the field and offer my 2 cents and hopefully empower them to go out there, back themselves and play their best rugby.
The Crusader season, this season, sort of reminded me a little bit of real estate when we have a change in the guard, say in a management role in one of our offices. It takes time to bed that in and, it changes up the energy of the team. But, wow, they had a great final game.
Yeah, that's it. I think, when there is change, it's not going to be instant. And that's something we worked through a little bit this year. You have your ups and downs, and we had a bit of a tough patch. And I guess a positive from it was being able to come out the back of that, and particularly the last 2 games against the Blues and Moana were huge for the group to see what we'd done throughout the year was working towards something. And it wasn't to be this year, but moving forward, a huge amount of excitement about what that might look like.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so lucky to have you as our ambassador for Grenadier. I drive into the car park every day, salute you, say, "G'day, Will, you're on the building." Tell us what that role's meant for you.
We talk about the billboard. I think having one right on the way to the stadium's mean I've copped a fair amount of ribbing from my teammates about it. So, there's always that side of it. But no, I think it's been great for me. I think, one, to have something going outside of rugby and some interests outside of that, it's been good to have a bit of perspective and a bit of balance. And one thing I've noticed about Grenadier is, like you say, real estate's industry that has its ups and downs, but I've always noticed there's been a huge amount of positivity and a real mindset to just keep on keeping on and push through it. So that's something I've certainly taken from it, and the skills that people have are things that I can take and transfer onto the rugby environment as well.
Yeah, there's some beautiful synergies, right? And I know you've come to a few of our events. How have you found our culture?
Yeah, it's been great. I seem to get invited to most of the social events or awards, prize giving, so that's always a bit of fun. And I think there's that side of it of a real drive to celebrate success and have fun. I think that's something I've always preached and enjoyed, is enjoy what you're doing. So that's been a cool part of it. And I think amongst it, there's a real ownership around individuals kind of nailing their role, having a huge amount of ambition and striving to be the best they can be, which I certainly relate to coming from the rugby environment.
That's fantastic. In terms of your Grenadier experience, I know you've done some property transactions with us. How have you found that as the client?
It's been a real lifesaver, to be honest. I've been on both ends of the spectrum now as a buyer and as a seller, and I think initially as a buyer, it's just a really great helping hand, another voice you can use to offer perspective on the market, what something's worth, help you out with open homes and stuff. And then recently in the sellers market, it's been massive. I think, again, 2 sides to it. There's the huge amount of networks that Grenadier have and buyers they can bring you into. And also there are a few hiccups along the way. Things didn't go smoothly. And having my agent there to sort all of that out was, as I say, a real lifesaver, allowed me to focus on what I was doing.
Fantastic. As someone who had success at quite a young age, what do you think the importance of mentorship and guidance, how does that, impact you?
Yeah, it's huge. I think having someone who you can go to for advice and be a sounding board is hugely important, particularly in our field. There's a whole bunch of noise, criticism, hype going on. So being able to sort of work your way through that a little bit and work out what's actually going on is massive. And like I touched on before, a growth mindset's key. So always working to get better. And I think whenever you can learn from someone else's experience, that can save you a huge amount of time and hardship as well. So we're constantly trying to evolve, constantly trying to get better. And I think in many ways it's actually harder to stay at the top than it is to get there. So trying to evolve yourself, keep chasing excellence is a big goal of mine.
Now, I know that everyone watching and listening is waiting for the moment that we find out, are you going to play rugby this season?
Yeah, slowly working my way towards it. It's 4 months on since I had surgery on the shoulder. So, probably come back and play a bit of rugby for Tasman, and then hopefully for the Rugby Championship and the India Tour, get a bit of stuff with the ABs if Razor's keen to have me back.
I'm pretty sure he will be. Tell us what it means to put on the All Black jersey.
Yeah, it's special, I think. As a kid growing up, it was something I always dreamed of and something I was passionate about. And I think the more I've played for the All Blacks, the more you understand how much they mean to the country and their ability to unite people. And I think that's something you always try and keep in perspective, is what we're doing is trying to bring people some happiness or bring people some joy in their life. So there's a whole bunch of hardship going on. So go out there, try and make people proud and put a smile on people's faces, particularly kids, seeing the way they look up to us and enjoy it. yeah, it's a huge driver of ours.
I love that. Even as a child, I remember getting up in the middle of the night with my parents to watch the All Blacks play somewhere, and we'd get the cake of chocolate out, and you weren't allowed any chocolate till they scored a try, and every family goes through that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're some of my fond memories as well, like you say, getting up in the morning and that real spirit behind it. So hopefully the chocolates have been given out early and we've been scoring some early points. Always try our best to do that, but sometimes you got to hold out longer than you want. But patience is a virtue, isn't it?
Absolutely. What are your goals and aspirations for the future, maybe even with the All Blacks or beyond?
Yeah, I think, I've re-signed through to the next World Cup. So obviously on the back of what happened last year, there's a huge amount of motivation to hopefully get to another World Cup and go one step further. So I'm excited about what that looks like. And I guess for me, transitioning into a bit of a different part of my career and being a bit more experienced and trying to take on a bit more of a leadership role in that space is pretty exciting. And beyond rugby, I think almost finished my commerce degree of about 9 years. So it's been a bit of a slow grind, but we're slowly getting there and don't know necessarily what that looks like. But I think, working out how I can use the experiences I've had in rugby to try and evolve that degree and turn it into something, whether that's in sport business, whether it's outside of it, we'll find out. But there's a few avenues to head down.
Fantastic. And I think, as a professional athlete, you've always got to think about that next step, don't you? Beyond, when you're able to play the sport, what does business look like for you? So good on you for nearly nailing that commerce degree. A couple of quick fire questions, if I might.
Yeah, sure. Hit us.
Favourite restaurant in Christchurch?
King of Snake, actually.
Ooh,
in the terrace. Yeah, nice spot.
Favourite sports team other than the All Blacks?
I'm a massive LeBron James fan. I love my basketball, so enjoy watching the Lakers play at the moment.
Have you ever been to a Lakers game?
I have been to a Lakers game.
Wow.
Yeah, 2019. Me and my partner headed over to the States and did it. So he's coming towards the end of his career now, LeBron. So to tick that off is pretty awesome.
What's the best show you've watched on Netflix?
When I started off at uni, I was studying law, and I think as a law student, your rite of passage was watching Suits. So,
Yes,
love watching
Suits.
that and kind of putting yourself in those positions. Fortunately, the law career didn't quite work out for me yet, but still enjoyed watching the show. So, real classic.
I know. I love the final season when they ask, what Meghan Markle's up to, and they say, "Oh, you wouldn't believe us if we told you." She made herself very famous.
Yeah, that took a real turn, didn't it? I don't know when I was watching that in 2015, whatever it was, we all saw that coming. But
I know.
it just goes to show that anything can happen, can't it?
Anything can happen. Dream destination?
I've always wanted to go to the Caribbean, actually. Yeah. I've done a few of the sort of nearer islands, like your Fiji and stuff, which I enjoy. I love a bit of warm weather, love a beach. So, I'd like to extend out a wee bit further and head there for something a bit more intrepid, maybe.
Fantastic. Dream car?
Dream car? Dream car. I'm not necessarily a huge kind of car man, but
Right.
I was able to drive a Ford Mustang around the last couple of months through our relationship with Ford, which
Nice.
was pretty cool. I did enjoy that. So maybe that was my little kind of moment in a wee sports car driving around before I moved to a family vehicle or something down the track.
The year after we were married, my husband bought a Ford Mustang, a 67 fastback. That's been the love of his life. So you'll make him very happy saying that.
Yeah, it was cool, I think. You don't always get the chance to drive something like that. So drive around within the speed limit and enjoy it. It was good fun while it lasted.
And finally, if there was anyone in the world you could meet and have a chat with, other than we know you love LeBron James, who would that be?
I did enjoy watching the Beckham documentary on Netflix.
I was going to say that.
David Beckham, bit of a legend in the sporting world, and particularly what he's doing afterwards in terms of, some of the charity work and stuff he does, and also the ambassador kind of commercial stuff he did would really change the game for athletes. So, he'd be a cool person to meet.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. All the very best for the rest of the year, and go the ABs.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate Uncovered. I hope you really enjoyed the show. If you did, please give us 5 stars and leave a review. This really helps others find our podcast.